gonna have to set them every single time you open OBS.
Yeah, I guess so, because we're live now.
Yeah.
Oh, are we?
Yeah. Now
Oh,
that the
jeez.
hotkeys are
But,
working again.
So like, Doom Eternal.
Oh God, is that
that'd be
where we're
such-
starting?
Doom Eternal.
That's
Just
all.
it gives me such an erection watching it. Oh my
it
god.
looks. It does not interest
I
me
don't
at
know
all.
why, but a lot of the Hellscape City from the Earth Hellscape scenes that I've seen, it just reminds me of Duke Nukem for some reason. I mean, the
I mean,
original Duke Nukem.
yeah, probably because it's probably referencing back to that era. Like they're the same company that made it.
Yeah, I
Both
realize.
of them.
No, wasn't Duke Nukem made by a different company? You're thinking Castle Wolfenstein and Doom.
Oh, am I? I'm trying to think.
Yeah, Castle Wolfenstein and Doom were made by the same company. I think Duke Nukem was made by someone else, and it was more of a competitor of Doom or something. Hang on, let me actually look that up.
Here is the trailer.
Duke
If you want to
Nukem
just put that up there, since we are already um
Apogee.
talking about
Yeah.
it,
Okay.
just put it up
Apogee
there.
made Duke Nukem, and it was, let's see, it's made in 91.
God, why is the overlay not working again?
But if you look at the art style, so oh God,
Yeah, the art style of
correctly.
those environments is very Duke Nukem to me.
Well, okay, so there it is. This is a
shit.
good way to explain this. I'm gonna open this image up, and then I'm gonna save to no desktop.
I don't want ads. Why are there ads?
Send this to live show. So I'm just posting this in live show for you guys to see.
Alright.
Okay.
Where is it? Oh God, I didn't name the picture before I clicked save.
Whoops.
There we go. So when you look at the original like art of both of those games, they're very similar.
Yeah. I can't remember which one came out first, Doom or Duke Nukem.
Oh, I'm gonna 100% say Doom.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
90% sure. Because if Duke
96.
Nukem released in 91,
96. Duke
91.
Nukem came. It says the original Doom was 90, or Duke Nukem was. Really? Okay.
Doom 1? I thought
yeah.
Doom 1 was...
Duke Nukem was
this was
released in
this was
91 on MS-DOS and Windows.
this
OS.
this was giving me the listed name release date for Duke Nukem 3D.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, Duke Nukem 3D was 96. It came out on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
But, Duke Nukem was 91. I think Doom was
Oh,
90 or 93.
93. Doom 1 was 1993. So Duke Nukem came out before Doom. Wow, that throws my right?
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently.
Okay.
So, yeah, Duke Nukem came out before Doom. But for some reason, it's like there was a very clear difference in style where Doom, a lot of it was very pixelated, and Duke Nukem was very picturesque.
Yeah.
Here, yeah. The original. No, I don't want Duke Nukem 3D. Where's the original? No, I definitely don't want Duke Nukem Forever. Come on. Just.
Let's see if I can find a. Oh, never mind. The original Duke Nukem was a side scroller.
Oh. And then it became a shoot. I didn't know that. Thought the first one was the shooter.
Yeah, it was a 2D platformer.
Okay, that's
And then
interesting.
in Duke Nukem 2 was a 2D side scroller.
Okay, why is under images
And
a
then
related?
3D was the first person shooter,
Yeah,
and it was done by 3D Realms.
3D realms. Okay. All right. Also, funny little point here. So if you type in Duke Nukem and then you click images, one of the related tags, according to Google, is Donald Trump.
The fuck?
I'm not
Okay.
sure why. um, another related tag is Bulletstorm. I mean, I guess that could kind of make sense.
Yes, but no.
Oh god.
I don't think you were doing
Yeah,
combo kills
Duke
in
Nukem
forever.
3D was the first Duke Nukem game that I actually played, which is why I remember it being,
After Doom.
yes, and prettier than Doom.
Yeah, because it was basically a redesign of a 2D game, right? And then
Yeah, the 1 and 2 were side scroller platformers, whereas 3 or 3D is was an actual first person shooter.
Okay.
And the difference between 96 graphics and 93 graphics was about as big a difference as 2012 graphics compared to 96 graphics. I'm not even joking.
it's not exactly that big of a difference,
Uh,
but
I would disagree. It's like this,
it
the
was still
difference.
rendered the same way.
It was still rendered the same way, but the number of pixels that you got in a frame was a lot more, so the images were a lot crisper. They had much better textures.
Let
The
me go
the
back.
the graphics were a little weren't as grainy, so to speak. It's like it's
God.
not quite like the level. It's not quite the level of comparing Ark to Minecraft, but it's pretty up there.
Minecraft dungeons. Let's
Yeah.
talk
Oh
about
my
that.
god, yes. That actually looked pretty badass, dude. Not even gonna lie. That
Is
looks
that a
like a
mobile
lot
game?
of fun.
Is that a mobile game?
Mm, no. It is an it is still it's an isometric game, but it's
Well,
not a
yeah.
mobile game. I don't think so. I mean, it'll if it comes out on the Switch, and I think I saw it also advertised to be coming out on the Switch, if that
Um.
makes sense.
Well, now it's coming out on the Switch. Yeah, but a lot of games are coming out on the Switch. Even mobile games are fucking. Yeah, let's. Blades did so well, right? You know, it didn't have any controversy at all. No one hated it. Let's put it on the Switch.
Fucking-
Which game?
Blades. The Elder Scrolls
I
Blades.
Oh,
Isn't that
I
the?
don't think I ever played it.
Oh no.
It's a free to play phone game.
Uh,
Um, which you basically. Yeah, it's bad. it's
yeah.
it's like
It being a free to play phone game is all you needed to say for me to. There's only been one or two phone games that I ever thought was good. One of them being Vega Conflict, and the other one being what was that Titanfall game?
Titanfall game.
there
They're
was
both they're
there was
both total pay to win, but they were still fun.
Was the second one a shooter? The Titanfall one?
No, it was hard to explain.
Huh.
More of a it's kind of a cross between a tower defense and a I don't even know how to describe it. You select units, you put in you select a deck of cards of different units, and it's got a spawn counter, and you can select which units to spawn at which point in time, and then they just automatically go across the map and attack whatever pops up.
Okay, so
And,
kind of an RTS,
the-
but not really.
yeah, kinda. It's the whole point is to counter what your opponent throws at you, and then follow up with something that they can't counter,
Okay.
if possible.
Hmm.
And then the person who gets the other side down to 0 first is the one that wins.
Okay.
I don't
It
know
was
if
fun.
I don't know if it no Bethesda's response to Hearthstone was Elder Scrolls Legends. Yes, there are 2 mobile games under the Elder Scrolls name.
I had no
Uh,
idea.
Legends is the uh card game, and then Blades is kind of like okay. So, do you remember seeing the trailers for Skyrim on the Switch? You know, with motion controls and how everything responded and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so take that kind of concept, remove motion controls, and put it on a phone. And also
Ew.
add in a shit ton of microtransactions and make the game pay to win.
Oh, God. So it's Skyrim on your phone.
um, it's not open world. It's like dungeon crawler. It's more
Oh.
dungeon crawler with like the flat paced you know um when you leave a dungeon, you go back to the town, but it's not like you can walk around in the town.
Mm-hmm.
You just see it in the background, and then you talk to the person who you're talking to help rebuild the town.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't get very far. It after like the second dungeon, I just was like, nope, I'm done. I'm out of here. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't do this.
Well, at least at this E3, Blizzard didn't fuck things up.
Hold on. Blizzard has Blizzard
They
came
even had
out
a
and
conference.
done it? Yeah, has Blizzard had a conference?
No, no. I think it was the last time Blizzard did a thing, I think at E3, they fucked up so bad. They revealed a Diablo mobile game,
Oh yeah, and no one,
and then and
no
Oh
then
yeah, it
one was
shamed
happy.
the crowd,
Yeah.
or tried to
I
shame the
remember
crowd for not liking it.
Yeah.
No, that was around the same time as Fallout 76's problem. I don't think that was E3.
Uh,
Because that created that great meme of Blizzard,
Do you guys not have
Bethesda,
phones?
yeah, Blizzard, Bethesda. Oh God, yeah, Blizzard, Bethesda, and someone else are all standing on the noose, and then EA is standing on the noose next to them. He's like, "What, you guys' first time?" Um, uh,
I
okay,
could have
Mark.
swore it was I could have swore Blizzard screwed it up at E3 is when they announced Diablo Mobile.
I think it was BlizzCon. Okay, so,
Yeah, it would have been
Mark
BlizzCon.
just brought something.
GDC.
Yeah, Mark just brought something to my attention. A flip phone version of Oblivion. It looks god awful.
I gotta see if I can get an emulator for this now. Maybe it's on the Play Store.
Oh my god. No, it's not. This is like literally 2006.
Oh god, so when it came out on PC, they're like, oh, we'll just make a port for your fucking
Yeah, it was the
Nokia
first time.
brick.
Yeah, basically. This is yeah, no. This is a flip phone. You used the actual like numpad to move.
Jesus Christ.
That's horrible. Oh, it also came out for the PSP a year later.
I'm sure it didn't run
And
any better.
actually, it's 3D. It looks kind of like,
What
um,
you'd expect.
Yeah, I mean, it looks a little bit better than Doom, you know,
Right.
on the PSP in
Mhm.
2007. Uh,
I
oh
remember I
man,
wanted a PSP so bad because it had Battlefront 2 on it.
yeah, yeah. It had Battlefront 2. It had an exclusive game called Rogue Squadron that allowed you to customize your own character. I loved my PSP. It also had Peace Walker and something else.
And now no
But
one makes anything for the PSP.
it's dead. It's gone. And then they tried to make the PS Vita, and then that seemed like it was going to be such a great emulator.
And then, no.
Oh, right, right. It wasn't a port. It was the same thing that Fallout Shelter did with Fallout 4. Um,
It was an
the
idler?
No, 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 no. It's just releasing it around the same time. It wasn't a port of the game. It was just a Oblivion mobile game that called Elder Scrolls Travels Oblivion. Um, it came out alongside or like a little bit after Oblivion itself. I don't know. I have any other information than that.
Okay.
Phone version made the Doom look good, but a first person's. So the 3D version of it is on the PSP. It's not on the phone. The phone is isometric. Um, like it's genuinely meant to be played on a flip phone. It
Which the flip phone version of Oblivion.
So Elder Scrolls Travels Oblivion. It's not actually um an Oblivion. It's not actually Oblivion, but it was released in 2006. Built in Java for phones
God.
around that time.
You could have just stopped at built-in Java.
Yes.
Well, Minecraft was built in Java, and look at it now.
Yeah, that's because they made it work.
Yeah, but that was like 6 years later, and Java
True.
for the PC,
True.
not Java
For
for
phones at the time.
not for the Nokia brick.
True.
The
Nokia, the Nokia brick that you dropped from orbit and destroyed the planet.
Like Brianna Wu. Fucking.
Oh my god! I was like, how does that? Oh wait. Oh gosh. Okay, we've gotten way off track here.
We're still talking.
We
games.
have.
So Doom.
Doom.
Doom
Have you
and
guys
Doom.
have you guys gotten your Doomgasms out yet, or
No.
No? Okay.
No.
I guess
No,
funny to do
we
that.
haven't. Because, holy
Alright.
crap. Not only are they actually planning on doing DLCs to expand the story later on in the first year, but they're also, with how they're setting it up, is just the options for gameplay, the different game types. It's just, oh, it gives me such erections.
Yeah, Battlezone looks neat. Isn't it the
Battlezone
one-
looks amazing.
Yeah.
I'm actually really stoked about Invasions,
Oh God.
where you're going through the campaign and then players from other people can invade on the side of the demons. It's
Are
going to
you
make
kidding
things
me?
interesting.
Are you kidding me?
It's going to make things very
Do you
interesting.
know? Do you know how many games have tried doing that? Okay, so there was
Uh,
obviously there was Dark Souls.
Yeah.
But that was a little bit different. That was more of
They
it
started
was
it.
more of they can help you or they can kill you. But Dying
Yeah.
Light did that. Dying Light did that with
Dying Light did that with the.
Yeah, but this is Doom.
I know.
I know.
This is them spawning as demons specifically to kill you. Specifically to kill you.
This is going to end one of two ways. Either it's going to be really fun, or I'm not going to be able to continue through a particular
It's-
level because I keep getting
It's
invaded.
No, it's entirely an opt-in thing.
Oh, okay, that's different.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's entirely opt-in. You have
They
to
typically
actually
are.
set it so that they can do that.
Okay.
And I am after the first playthrough for me, I'm going to opt in because it's going to make campaigns that much more interesting on different playthroughs.
God. Imagine trying to do a speed run and you forget you have that turned on.
Well, you're starting that speed run over.
Yeah, you are.
But
That's for sure.
yeah, that's one thing that I'm looking forward to. They've polished the multiplayer a whole lot. They've made it better, in my opinion. Because like I liked the I liked the multiplayer in Doom,
Hmm.
but it was just off enough for me to not play it very much because it was more of a it was a little too heavy on the twitch aspect of it and a little too light on the skill aspect of it.
Mm.
It's like everybody was spamming the exact same build.
Well,
Rocket launchers and Gatling guns.
well, okay, so it's Doom.
Yeah.
It is.
Doom is about big guns that shoot things and then kill moves. It's not. It's not about like specking out like the difference between an M14 or freaking
No, but it is supposed to
my
be a little bit closer to Unreal than it
Mhm.
is to Team Fortress.
mm,
Yeah.
And the problem is it was a little bit too Unreal. It was a little too. It was not enough Unreal, and it was too much Team Fortress.
Just
It's like
imagine everyone's.
if they were going to what I would have really liked them to do is make the multiplayer exactly like Unreal and Quake was, where you picked up the weapons that you used. You start off with a base weapon,
Hmm.
and that would be like a pistol. And then as you go through the map, you pick up the better weapons. And that requires you to know where the better weapons are, which weapons they are. It requires you to use weapons that you don't necessarily like, aren't necessarily powerful, but you have to be better at them than you would like to, just so that you can actually stay competitive with someone running around with a fucking noob tube.
Hmm.
And that was the draw of Unreal and Quake for me, is that if you could get to the weapon in time, then great. If you couldn't get to the weapon on time, you still had to have some measure of skill with the other weapons in order for you to live long enough to get to the weapon that you
mm,
want. You know, whether that's the rocket launcher or the shock rifle. I loved the shock rifle, by the way, or the Ripper. The Ripper was fun, but either way, it made things interesting. You know, it made things fairly competitive, in my opinion. But the Doom multiplayer that came out with 2016 wasn't like that. You started with a specific loadout,
Hmm.
and the only one that really was worth doing, there were only two of them. There's the Gatling gun rocket launcher, and then there was the shotgun and another pairing that I can't remember.
mhm.
But it didn't work that well. It didn't have the right feel. It was neat and it was still fun and there were cool aspects to it. It just did not capture the feeling of an id multiplayer. It didn't have that feeling of Quake. It didn't have that feeling of Unreal, which I admit is an epic game, but it's still Quake and Unreal were very, very similar because the
Mhm.
first Unreal came out, the first Unreal tournament came out around the time Quake 3 came around. And Quake 3 Champions is when that multiplayer really started, multiplayer style, that battle arena style really started to take off.
See, I remember Quake as something completely different than other people, I guess. Um, when I think it was Quake 4? No, it was Quake Enemy Territory.
The I know what you're saying. Quake has Quake 3 was a pure was Champions, and that was a pure multiplayer game. It
Right.
was just a battle arena. But Quake 1, Quake 2, and Quake 4 had actual story campaigns to them,
Yeah.
and those those were fun. But when I say Quake in regards to multiplayer, it's Quake Champions and the most recent Quake that came out that I'm talking about, where it's a battle arena.
Well, Quake Champions is the most recent one.
Quake
That's what it's
3
called.
Champions.
Okay, so Quake Champions
Quake,
is
yeah, Quake Champions is the most recent one that came out. You're right. And then Quake 3 is what Champions
is based
is
on.
modeled off of.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
And it's you played did you play Unreal Tournament at all?
A little bit, like
I think.
a long ass time ago.
Do
I
you, do
only
you
played
remember
3.
how it worked though?
I can picture pieces, but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
And that's what I would really like for the next Doom multiplayer to actually be. And I've only heard little snippets about what the different multiplayers game types will be. Because I loved Unreal Tournament. Even Unreal Tournament 3, which a lot of people said they didn't like. I loved Quake 3, and I haven't really played Quake Champions because it's just a little bit late in the game for me to be getting into it. You know, it's like you have this time. I have this time period where I'm either going to get it into it early, or I'm not going to get into it at all. Because I just feel like there's way too much for me to catch up on for it to be worth really playing.
See, it's free, and I've thought about getting it. I've looked at it, and
About getting Quake Champions?
yeah, the new one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm still kind of thinking about getting it just so I can play it and get that fix that I really want.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I have so many other games that I'm playing.
Oh yeah, no, that's.
Like I just started playing Conan Exiles again.
I
Again.
I haven't
on a
even.
on a new server.
I haven't even started, or I haven't even played a game in the past like 2 or 3 weeks. Like this last week has just been work and editing.
That was last week for me as well. It's just work. Come home, don't even play a game. I just sit and try to relax.
Yeah.
But I believe I've gotten all of my Doom bonerage out.
All right. So then why don't we introduce the stream since we didn't do that at the beginning?
Sure. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's episode of Locked and Loaded, where we talk everything that we care about E3.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tonight. We've already covered
With us
Keanu
with
Reeves
us
and
tonight
frickin-
is Sergeant Buck
Sup? Like half awake.
Pavaros.
Oh yeah, you're half awake.
Yeah.
I'm there too. I'm half awake. Hi.
And myself. And I have no idea what you said with that, Merc, with the big phlogisting gardener.
It's I think that's a specific weapon combo from TF2 for the pyro.
Yeah, no,
played
I
a
didn't really.
lot of
I only
TF2.
played a little bit of Team Fortress 2. I played it enough to know what it was like.
I think. No, I didn't break the 1,000-hour mark in TF2, but I played a lot of it. So.
See, I think the funny thing is you guys are talking about like these games. Like, I didn't really start getting into gaming until I built a PC and just to play Fallout 3
Oh wow.
because
What was
one
this
of my
back in?
friends.
What was this back in 2008, 2009?
2009. Yeah, I
So
asked
that's like
for.
right when Fallout 3 came out, isn't it?
Yeah, I asked for like cheap ass computer components, um, from my parents for my birthday and Christmas, and I got an Intel Celeron and 2 gigs of RAM and a cheap ass terrible case, and I borrowed a graphics card from the extra parts bin at my high school.
Jeez.
Um,
Yes, this is mine. But hey, you built a
This is
rig.
mine now.
it was
I'm totally okay with this. It's mine now.
it was it was a freaking Radeon HD like 2400 or something like that, and it was back when
That wasn't that bad. That actually wasn't a bad chip when it came out.
yeah, but this was 2009 and I was trying to play Fallout 3. Granted, I only had I had a 720 piece like 32-inch horrible TV from like Vizio or something,
Yeah.
that I was playing it on. But yeah, that was a god awful computer when I finally got this computer. Oh well, actually, the computer that's next to my foot. Back in 2015, I took a hammer and a bunch of other things and a screwdriver to that computer. Kept the processors, but the
But you,
motherboard had to go.
You verged the rest of it.
Well, the motherboard that I got was made by Foxconn, and Foxconn's claim to fame is getting sued by Apple for fucking up so hard with the original iPhone that they had to make a new one.
Jesus.
um, it was terrible. Like, in order to get more than 4 gigs of RAM, you had to buy single-sided die RAM, which even by I think when I was trying to do that back in like 2011 wasn't a thing anymore. So it was a pain in the ass. I mean, eventually I upgraded it a little bit. I went from a Celeron to a Core 2 Duo, and then from the 2400 to like I think it was a 5770. I started with AMD when
I actually built my first computer around the same time that you did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
mine was $200.
2008, 2009. I spent about $1,200 on it.
Well,
And
$1,000 more than I did. I had no money, so.
yeah, well, I had used I was working temp jobs as doing warehousing at the time, and I used my tax return and a couple of paychecks to get it. But I got I it was just a bunch of lemons because the RAM that I got, I needed to it was dead on arrival. One of the sticks was dead on arrival, and I didn't understand about sending shit
DRM.
back on. Yeah,
Yeah, RMA.
sending it back
It's
in and
RMA.
getting an actual piece. And I also got a pretty crappy graphics card.
Which one was that?
It was the AMD Radeon Sapphire.
Well, okay, so the Sapphire was the name of the company. Well, what was the name of the chip itself? See, at that time, Radeon, like, I've talked to Topaz about this, and she's looked at me like I'm crazy when I'm explaining like what the difference between components and stuff are, because she's like, how do you know the difference between a an i5 like, or an i7 8083 and an i7 9700. What does the K mean? I'm like, you don't understand. This is simple compared to back when the Radeon HD, like, there were 3 numbers.
Yeah, no, I
There were 3
remember.
numbers that would change.
I remember. All I know is that the card that I got, it worked barely. It's like there was something, there was like a recall on them, like maybe 2 weeks after I got it, and I never got the recall notice. And so I spent a year and a half, 2 years using this graphics card that was basically no better than the onboard graphics of the motherboard at the time.
Oh God.
Well, then
Because
we've
it
done
was
this with you, but-
it was pretty shit.
Oh,
And yeah, that whole experience is what really killed AMD for me. 'Cause my next build was I decided I was going to go with NVIDIA and Intel.
see, I had a grass is always greener type moment that actually ended up paying off for me in the end, because we'll get to AMD's recent stuff later on, but they have gotten a lot better. But
I believe
they're
it.
still not, like, their highest end card, and is still not like close to the highest end NVIDIA card, but it's not supposed to be. They price their highest end cards to be around the mid range for NVIDIA's highest end cards, but outperform, like, with at least the graphs they were showing. I think it was today when they had their conference. They were outperforming it for like $50 cheaper, which has been their claim to fame right now ever since they decided to, like, get their shit together and start being an actual competitor to Intel and NVIDIA.
Yeah, here's the thing: is like I built a computer doing AMD because that's what I could afford. I couldn't afford the Intel stuff. And
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I've heard so many people doing things with AMD. I'll just give AMD a shot. And I built it. And the computer just plagued with problems from day one. And because I couldn't afford to replace parts willy-nilly, I was dealing with a computer that was just plagued with problems from day one for like several years. I think I used that computer from 2009 when I built it all the way up until 2011, August 2011, when I joined the military.
See, my $200 PC, I kept going until 2015 when I actually had the money to buy another one.
Well, yeah,
But
I
I
mean, the
think
only
we
reason I
both-
didn't keep using that computer is because I joined the army. I couldn't take a desktop with me in the barracks.
Right.
Um,
No, I
If
think
only.
you and me ran into the same issue you ran into the same issue that I keep doing. I keep buying computer components at the wrong time. Right? So, I should have waited to buy the graphics card that I did. Or actually, no, not the graphics card. I'm sitting pretty high on the graphics card right now. But like, so when I first bought my processor, like the next year, they came out with a same price version of the i3. Because I bought my processor before i3 and i7 was a thing. And the i3 was better than the Celerons, but at the same price. They're still like $50. It was also on a new chipset, which wasn't the god awful one that I ended up with, and all the different kind of stuff. And then when I eventually bought that computer in 2015, I bought the computer way too early. I should have waited like another half a year, because I got a mid-refresh CPU instead of a full generation later. which put me so far behind because when they came out with the 6th generation of Core i5 and i7, it was far beyond the refresh. It just how it handled things. It had DDR4 memory instead of DDR3, tons of stuff. The boards had a bunch of like features that I actually could have really used, that kind of thing. And just recently, I've done the same thing. I've decided, hey, I'm gonna go buy an i7 for $400, and then AMD's like, hey, so we're releasing a 16 core, or no, we're releasing a 12 core CPU that beats an 8 core and single core performance, which you don't see. And it's only $400 compared to a 12 core from Intel, which is like 1200. And if the metrics, if all their stuff is correct, it's I bought the wrong CPU at the wrong time. But but no, yeah,
Meanwhile, here I built this rig back in 2013, and the only things I've changed out are the power supply. I swapped out the power supply, the RAM, the graphics card. I've swapped out the graphics card several times, but I'm still on the same board and processor that I've had for the last 6 years. And now, with some of the new games, it's like, oh, I can't run this. I'd like to, but I can't.
So I often make the joke that my computer cost me $4,000 when it's like half that. In 2015, I bought an i5, like Devil's Canyon Overclockable Edition, with an Asus motherboard, 8 gigs of RAM, I think, a GTX 970, and some other stuff, right?
Right.
Fallout 4 in June of that year, because this was February when I bought it. In June, gets announced. I then went out and bought a second GTX 970, so I could play it.
Tit.
Also another 8 gigs of RAM and a 750 watt power supply to replace my 500 watt. Right? Got the second card and realized that my cheap mid tower wouldn't really, fit 2 cards. So I went down to this horrible computer parts store and spent $160. No. Worse. Best Buy at least can sell things close to MSRP. This computer parts store is non-apologetically selling things way over MSRP.
Okay.
It's bad. They're scumbags too. And got this case that I currently am using. Right?
Mm-hmm.
While it goes along, and I end up getting a 1080 Ti after a really solid job that paid me like $4,000 after like 2.5 weeks. I bought that for $800 2 months before the cryptocurrency skyrocketed that card up to $1,200 or $1,300.
Nice.
Actually. Yeah.
Before NVIDIA graphics cards became the new Bitcoin.
Well, actually, it was NVIDIA graphics cards and AMD. It was both. They were both just like really overpriced for a long ass
graphics.
time.
The cost of graphics cards, especially the higher end ones, just skyrocketed when Bitcoin really came out and people started just building miners using like 12, 13, 14 freaking graphics cards. And all they were doing was mining Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Jesus.
No, it was bad. For the
Like,
entirety of
there a lot of people make quite a bit of money doing that.
yeah.
Like
Well,
right
okay.
at the beginning.
Okay, at the beginning, and then they pulled out. And if you waited any longer after that, you got fucked.
Yeah, nobody really makes money off of Bitcoin anymore unless they have supercomputers doing shit.
Yeah.
Unless they don't pay for the power bill.
True.
So then Uh, I've gotten like a few more SSDs along the way, and then this year, uh, 2 years after buying the graphics card, in the same month that I bought the original computer, I got a i7, a new motherboard, and 16 gigs of RAM, leaving me with two fully complete computers. The one that I built back in 2015, which sits, I actually rebuilt, put back together. It now sits as my feet. I use it as a streaming PC. And then the one that I started building, I guess you can say, in 2017 with the purchase of the um, 1080 Ti. So, like, because the way that I upgraded this, I ended up with two full computers by the end, which is kind of nice, but I should have waited. Back to
Yeah,
E3.
I don't really have the space to do that.
Uh,
Um, I'm gonna keep upgrading this computer as
Mhm.
things go on. The first thing that's gonna get upgraded is definitely the cooler, because the
Mm.
basic big not bitch Noctua fan that I picked up is not meant for a full tower rig, crunching
Yeah.
the crunching the processing power needed for what I do with it.
Yeah.
So it's basically the fan is designed for a micro tower
So it's a
that is
low profile
basically for
fan.
surfing the internet. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a low profile fan, and I
So you
got it
got.
because I needed a fan that would work, and it's done a pretty kick-ass job. But when I start playing any of the games that I play, it starts screaming. It gets so
See,
loud.
that's the reason why I built. I got kind of screwed because the same moment that I upgraded to my new processor, which is because you got the 9700K, right?
Yeah, same as
Yeah,
you.
so we have the same processor. So right when I upgraded from my Devil's Canyon i5 to my 9700K, the pump on the not I mean it was a cheap water cooler because it wasn't like the 240 or that kind of
Wasn't
stuff.
it the 110?
It was the 120. It
120.
was just a single fan, single 120 millimeter fan radiator cooler. The pump went out
Oh, good.
right when I upgraded, which means that that's why
Merc.
after I
Screaming toaster lives on.
um that's why I stopped playing things like Destiny
Uh huh.
and stuff like that. It made my computer ridiculously unstable, and it would get really hot really quickly. So I went out and I bought through a ton of research, and then ignoring all of that research. Uh,
This seems to be a
As-
trend with you, buddy.
As we like to do.
I bought a cooler or a Corsair H150i, which is a 360 millimeter radiator. It's got three 120 millimeter fans on it. And
It's a big
granted,
radiator.
I'm not. It's pretty big. I had to remove all of my 5 1/4 inch drive things in the front of my case. Um,
It's called a bay, by the way.
well, no, the bay is still there. I just removed everything
The
that was in
cage?
it. That's so 5 1/4 inch bay is basically the cage. The things that go inside it are the size of a 5 1/4 inch. Moving on. Um, so I ended up getting that.
So,
Now,
I'm gonna argue semantics with you here.
okay,
The cage holds
Okay.
several bays. The bay holds the 5 1/4 drive.
all right. All right, so the cage is still
Yeah.
there. The things that go into each bay within the cage, I'm still right, but the things that go into the cage are no longer there.
I just wanted you to
but,
fully clarify what you were saying.
um, but no, granted, if I would have gone out and I would have purchased just like a Noctua, I think it's an DH15U, which is their biggest air cooler. It's got 2 fans on it, 2 giant heat sinks. This case would completely fit it. My computer would be a lot. It would be even more silent than it is, and it would still be getting some pretty solid temperatures.
See, I plan on getting a I just plan on getting a all-in-one
That's what this
240.
is.
Yeah, I just plan on getting a all-in-one 240
I
because
would go with a 280. I would just go with it. With your CPU, I would go with a 288.
I'm not sure. I can't remember if
produces
my
a ton of heat.
yeah, I can't remember if my case can support a 280 or not.
Um,
I
how
think it
new is the
can.
case? How new is the case?
It's let me actually pull it up really quick.
But so, but it is really silent. So I am happy with the cooler, even though, per my research, I would have been better off going with uh a Noctua DH15U.
So I have a Fantex P400 Silent Edition. It comes with
That's
that.
a
It doesn't.
nice case.
It is, and I can't remember what it supports.
God,
Let's
I gotta
see.
get a new case too. New processor, new board, new case, Just get a new fucking computer.
Yeah, I really like. It's up to 272 millimeters wide. Let's see. Radiator options up to 360 millimeters. So yeah, it'll be fine. I'll get a 360 then.
So the 360 that I got was like $150. Which is another reason why, per my research, the DHU is more silent. It gets slightly better temperatures, and it's only $80 rather than 150 for a little bit louder and a little bit hotter. But that being said, with it being completely silent and you can never hear it, it never goes above 65 degrees Celsius. So I am okay with it. I wasn't planning on, like a lot of people said, oh, if you're gonna overclock. I did actually put an overclock on this. But it's not aggressive. Actually, it's kind of a weak overclock. But it still works. Alright.
Pretty sure the radiator would go on the top.
Typically you have more clearance on the top.
I just with my motherboard, with where it sits, because this is a mid-sized tower case capable of doing a full ATX board, and I have a full ATX board. So the question is that full ATX board just tall enough to make that top not usable for the radiator?
Let me look here.
I would actually have to pull the side off of my case in order to look, because I didn't get the tempered glass version.
Okay, so a 360 will go in the front.
The front.
Yep.
All right, that's what I thought.
You
Thank
remove
you.
the fan, and the 360 will go in the front.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to remove, I think, one of the SSD cages above the power supply, thing.
My SSDs are on the back plate,
Right.
not above the not above the power supply shroud.
Right. No, I'm seeing that. It just that's a hard drive tray. You'd remove the hard drive tray. And then mount them, and then you'd mount them to the back like you're doing with the SSD.
It's something to play with later.
Yeah. So, before we go back to E3, because I do want to head back there.
We'll get there eventually.
Freaking, uh, Marek sent us something in general of a. It looks like a new design for an air cooler, but it looks really strange.
Thermoelectric CPU cooler. Hex 2.0 combines a proprietary state-of-the-art high-performance thermoelectric module with an innovative heat exchanger. The small form factor CPU cooler pioneers a new category of cooling technology. Compact design fits in small chassis, including mini ATX cases, while delivering cooling capacity beyond that of much larger coolers.
It's got a 120. It's got a 120 millimeter fan in there.
Yeah, I see that. So it uses a push-pull configuration.
No. Push pull would be 2 fans. It uses a single fan.
It's still push-pulling. It's pulling in one side and pushing out the other.
It's okay. Not gonna try to have that conversation. Not
So,
but
when it comes to heat dissipation and this style, it's still considered a push-pull because you're pushing out one side and pulling in the other side. It is, but I've seen there are miniature ACs that use this. They have...
The fins are so thick and they touch. I mean, there's a good amount of heat pipes. There's 4 heat pipes, but...
They don't touch.
The fins?
Yeah, the fins don't touch.
See, can you get the video to play? Because I can't.
Let me see. I mean, I'm looking at the damn thing. I can see that they don't touch each other.
Alright.
No, I can't get the video to play either. It just looks like they touch because they're very close together. They are very big fins, though. I agree with you. Those are really thick.
So back to E3.
Back to E3, yeah. Hardware
So now that we've gotten
Done.
we've gotten a lot of Doom out of the way. So
Yeah.
why don't since we started with Doom, why don't we talk about the Bethesda?
Oh god, the Bethesda
showcase?
conference.
Because it was so bad, and even at like 4 a.m. when I actually ended up watching it last night, oh man, I'm pretty sure I woke up a few people in the house. So
Because you were laughing so hard.
yeah, I couldn't stop. So we've talked about Fallout 76. Actually, a good amount on this on the stream here, because I wanted to like it. You're still on it. I wanted to like it. Pig liked it for a second.
I didn't
wanted
even get
nothing to
that
do with
far.
Which
Yeah,
Well,
but
the game. I didn't
which
even.
one?
I didn't even buy the game. 76.
Oh, yeah, I liked it for about a second.
Yeah. So, but the game had a lot of issues.
Whoever wrote this
Controversies.
fucking thing is a moron.
Yeah.
40
No, tell me about
40
it.
dB is not almost twice as loud as 30 dB. 40 dB is almost... Ugh.
But isn't that also the
40
typical...
dB is almost 4 times as loud as 30 dB, because for every 3 dB you double as you double the freaking power.
Yeah. But isn't 30 dB the typical ambient like noise floor of a room, or is that 40?
No, that's actually closer to 23.
Okay. So it's really loud. So, but we hadn't really heard much from anybody other than apologies about like Bethesda. They've just really been hiding behind the fact that they're just communicating what's next, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't make the argument that Bethesda isn't talking to anybody when they're updating about what's coming next. over the time they've had controversy because they fixed something and then it broke something else and then they had to fix it again and all these different kinds of things all accumulating to when the two developers came out on stage at the Bethesda showcase for Fallout 76. And what made me laugh so hard was when they got out there, one of the guys looks over and at the camera and lets out the most uncomfortable laugh I have ever heard in my entire life. He did not want to be there
Nope.
at all.
Sure as shit didn't.
He was like, I don't want to die. I actually had the there.
He
So,
was afraid. He was afraid of the crowd storming the stage and lynching them.
Basically. But so Buck, I have the showcase posted in show construction, and then the time code of what I'm talking about is 12 minutes and 3 seconds.
I don't know if I can get there. Let's see, where?
Did you post it? Is it the GameSpot trailers?
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
And then it was at 12-minute mark, you said?
12-minute. Yeah, just 12-minute.
Oh my god, why do I have to sit through an ad to watch a fucking goddamn trailer?
This is 1 minute and 56 seconds.
What?
That's the Doom Eternal trailer.
That's the wrong thing.
No, it's up. It's up more. It's
Yeah.
GameSpot
I see
trailers full
Nuclear
Bethesda.
Winter. And then I see a tweet. GameSpot trailers. Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
I'm just dumb.
So I can take it to 12:01.
Okay, that's fine.
All
So,
right.
you want to hear it?
Yes, dude.
Everybody ready?
About 76.
Okay, play.
Hi, I'm Project Leader Jeff Gardner, and I'm
That fucking just dude. I had to hear that again. Holy shit.
It's just, he's so uncomfortable with being there.
Jeff Gardner.
Like, God, why?
Fucking laugh.
Why?
On behalf of everyone at Bethesda Games,
Oh man. He's just like, I hope no one in this audience is armed, or we're all dead.
I didn't actually make out what the laughter.
Was 4.
So, I was actually watching the stream through Gopher's Twitch stream, because he was restreaming it. And once he left, it was Gopher and then another chick. They just started dying laughing. It was just so uncomfortable. But what makes it even more uncomfortable is what they announced. So 2 things that actually are the only things that that I think I've found even notable from what they announced about Fallout 76, because they didn't even talk about performance, they didn't talk about bugs and issues with the game. These are things that are still plaguing me with these but they announced the first thing was the DLC coming, I think, in November or something like that, called Wastelanders. Adding NPCs into the game. Something they were I actually pulled up a graphic for you. And I think I posted it into... No, I didn't. It was in show construction. You gotta scroll up a little bit.
And you gotta fucking pay for it?
No, you don't.
Okay.
That would have been lynching territory.
Yeah.
That- oh man, I can only understand like if they reneged on that because the promise they made at the original showing at E3 last year was that all the DLC would be free, all updates and everything would be free. So if they reneged on that after that god awful launch and just like it's been over 6 months now since release, and just be like, yeah, so it's $20 for the new DLC. Nope. It'd be over. But so they've decided to add back in Wastelanders, and now there's going to be actual quests with actual humans and dialogue, full dialogue trees.
And they're all voiced by Microsoft Sam.
Yes.
Jesus. Oh,
Interesting.
And so
maybe when that drops,
do you
I'll
think
get it.
do we yeah, fall, do we want to play the trailer for it? You think we'd be able to?
The
Because I have the trailer.
Fallout 76 thing?
The Wastelanders.
Wastelanders.
They've probably got so many people putting up clips and everything that it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
No, a lot of the
So-
time, you can get away with a lot of shit with E3.
So what timestamp am I looking for? Should I just play it from here?
No, I just sent you the link to the the Wastelanders trailer. Show construction.
Now I gotta open another page and get another ad.
I'm sorry.
Fucking.
I don't know the timestamp for that trailer. Like,
Oh, come off it. I have to confirm my age.
Oh my gosh.
Are you fucking
really?
kidding me?
Well, it's because it's now rated M. I don't think any other Fallout game has been rated M before, right?
No, I think they've all been rated M.
Oh, okay.
I don't know any game rated
I think-
T that says that drops fuck.
Yeah, that's true. All right, you ready?
No, because I have to sign in.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Oh, you're about to show that you're signing in on stream.
Yeah. This is fucking garbage.
But,
Oh god. Can I only interact with the... I can only interact with the... Wow. Thanks, OBS. I can only interact with the browser if it's visible. Jesus.
no, I guess they are rated M, there, Mark. I don't know why. I thought... So there's... R is a TV rating, right?
Yeah,
rating?
no. It's a film rating. You can't. M
Yeah.
is the closest rating you can get to R.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't go R and then M. It's just M. Okay,
Yeah,
that's...
M is specifically a TV
Game.
and video game rating, and it's for stuff that has anything from cursing to partial nudity.
Right.
Like once you go to R, you basically have to go to HBO or Showtime or those channels that are basically not they're not able to put on public broadcasting.
Yeah. Like
The Shield was rated M, and it had it had a couple of episodes that had naked breasts on it. In it.
all right, we ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, now it's all loaded up.
Okay. Click play.
It's been some time since Vault 76 opened its door. And we all discovered that Appalachia isn't quite what it used to be. We encountered a lot of things. Overcame a lot of things. I don't think any of us expected for people to actually come back.
Are you from that vault? Can you help us? We've traveled pretty far. Heard there's hope here in Appalachia. Folk rebuilding, fighting back. We'll fight too, right by your side.
This is Wastelanders?
Yeah, this is Wastelanders.
We've been everywhere and seen everything.
Why does it look like
The
Fallout?
one thing we've learned
It is?
you gotta
Yeah.
claim the wasteland.
It is.
before it claims
Fallout
you.
Wastelanders?
No, Fallout? Alright, hold
The
on.
question is, are you with
Fallout
us
76 Wastelanders.
or them?
Yes.
Are these actual people that they're putting in now?
You were not paying attention, were you? You weren't paying
No.
attention to the whole conversation leading up to this. Alright, so the thing that they were talking about at E3, they announced two kind of big DLCs that I find of note, being Fallout 76 Wastelanders, which brings back NPCs to the game,
Okay.
as well as another one. But this one I thought was at least interesting because it feels like we're now getting to the point of the original idea for the game.
Yeah.
Alright, so the
It's
original
actually
oh,
it's not
please.
it's not early access anymore.
So, like, the original story for the game, for those who don't know, it's not worth playing through, so I don't care about spoilers. Is
It's
you
not.
go out, you're supposed to start rebuilding the wasteland, like building up small towns and you know, clearing out all the bugs and all that kind of stuff. Problem is,
Establishing infrastructure.
yeah. Problem is that's not what happens at all. You can't do that. The entire idea of the game is completely thrown out the door not because of an interesting twist within the story, but because there was no way to do that within the confines that they set up for the game.
There's no people.
There's no people, so you can't see any like actual rebuilding being done. Once you kill something somewhere, it just respawns within the next 2 minutes. They decided to add nukes to the game, which throws the whole story into this retarded, just god-awful, like, ending that was just, hey, yeah, there is a flying dragon. You need to kill it by dropping a nuke on it. Oh, I'm sorry, no, you need to get it out of its hole by dropping a nuke on it. It's not like, you could just make it into a dungeon and go into the hole yourself. No, you had to drop a nuke on the hole in order to bring it out. And that was narrative-wise. Gameplay-wise, you just kept dropping nukes to get better loot. So, it was terrible implementation. With this Wastelanders
Not to mention
DLC
that when you dropped a nuke, you had a chance of crashing the server.
Oh, no, that was only if you did 3 at once.
There was still a chance.
The amount of bugs and issues with the game are immense.
I know.
So now that they've decided to add in this DLC, Wastelanders, it actually feels like they are going forward the original setup for the game.
Is this bot paid for
No,
DLC?
wow, what the fuck were you doing, man?
I
We
was
already had this
distracted.
conversation.
I was distracted by the thermo-electro device.
Alright,
cooler thing.
no.
Because it was intriguing.
They announced, and so far they are keeping to their promise that all updates and DLC will be free.
Okay.
So you don't have to pay for this.
That kind of kills the joke I was about to make.
Okay. What was the joke?
You bought into the alpha, and then you had to. And then the actual
So-
game was only like $10.
So Ark?
Yeah.
So
Hang on.
yes.
Hang on.
Yes.
You did not have to pay for the full game when it released. You only had to pay
Yes, you
for the expansions.
I'm sorry, was the game completed and not bug free by the time they started releasing paid expansions?
You didn't understand. The game was fully released when they started releasing expansions. Scorched Earth was the first expansion, and they released that, I think, 3 months after the game reached completion. Completion
No, it
date.
didn't. It hadn't reached completion yet. It was before it had gone out of early access that Scorched Earth came out. I think most recently there was a DLC that came out that was like 3 months
Extinction.
after. Yeah, it was like right after it reached completion.
It
But
was Scorched Earth came out, and then not like almost a year later, Aberration came out, and then I think a month or two ago, freaking Extinction came out.
yeah,
And
so
each one of those is a completely different game all on its own, if you really want to think about it. Different maps, different animals, different creature mechanics, different.
I wasn't being serious, Pig. Stop taking it so seriously. Moving on. The other DLC that they announced, which isn't entirely a DLC, it's a new game mode called Nuclear Winter. I gave you a graphic for that one too.
You
There.
did. I saw that.
So,
Hey,
Nuclear Winter is
graphic for me?
exactly the problem. Yeah, it's a screenshot, but Alright,
here.
do you not see all of those? Okay. God, I feel
Ladies and
slightly
gentlemen, welcome
offended.
to Locked and Loaded, where the whole point of the freaking show was to piss off Pav.
I I do all this setup. None of you pay
Well, I
attention.
thought they were in a specific order, like Cyberpunk and then, but no. So
I am so sorry that Myrick gave me something shiny to look at, and I was looking at it, okay? Okay? Bite me.
I'm good. So Nuclear Winter is exactly what a lot of people were afraid of back when they first announced Fallout 76. When it first came out, people really did not want a battle royale PUBG style game mode in Fallout
Yeah.
76. Well, that's exactly what Nuclear Winter is. And it's bad. I don't know if it's just because I still have issues running Fallout 76, which I still don't understand myself. I've talked to people in forums on like Reddit and shit who have the game. They're running lesser hardware than I am, and they get incredibly smooth gameplay. So I don't know what the fuck's going on.
I don't know. I don't know. either.
So loaded. What the fuck? It's just really clunky and awkward, and it's not what I would want out of a Fallout game because it just doesn't work. The hit markers just don't work at all. I get a Gatling gun and I'm shooting this Gatling gun at a guy like 2 feet in front of me, and then none of the bullets are hitting him at all.
Because the
and I'm
ping
just
is just so high.
I've checked my ping, man. It was at 12. Actually, no.
Your
it was
ping. I don't know about the guy you were
What?
shooting at, though.
Probably. I don't fucking know. I'm just annoyed, and it
Either
wasn't
way.
good.
Yeah, it's a it's a freaking PUBG-esque game type, like Apex Legends, Fortnite, and PUBG. And it sucks.
They give us something we asked for, and then they give us something we didn't ask for.
Right.
Thanks,
something we
Bethesda.
explicitly stated do not want.
We're just gonna have
but
no one test
So
this because
it goes beyond the do not want. It is the exact opposite of what we wanted. As in, we do want you to not make this game type.
please, and thank you.
It is a tired, very tired game type that is tired within 6 months of it actually, coming out. It's like how long did Apex Legends last?
it's actually still going pretty strong. It just Not many people are talking about it. Here, hold on.
Not from what
I'll
I've
find you a
actually
metric.
heard.
I'll find you a metric.
Let's not
Sarah.
actually worry about it.
Um,
That's just another
but
tangent
so
that we can go off on.
yeah, so
Like Fortnite does good, but that's
Fortnite
because
is still one of the top.
it's because
It's
Fortnite is Fortnite
yeah.
and it's cartoony and people really like it because it's stupid and stupid. I don't like Fortnite,
No one likes Fortnite.
as you can probably tell, but a lot of people do like Fortnite, and I don't know. It's just not my style of game.
So currently the top two games that are being streamed are Apex Legends and Fortnite. So I think that it's still holding its own.
I thought Apex Legends was like well below. Um, I thought Overwatch overtook it again.
No, Overwatch sits just a little bit under Apex Legends, but both Overwatch and Apex Legends sit way higher than the other ones that are behind it.
Okay.
Like you go a little bit down the line, you get to Fallout 76, oddly enough, and that's at 5,000.
Yeah. Oddly
which
enough,
is-
Overwatch to me is just a reskin Team Fortress 2.
I would make a disagreement to that because I've played Team Fortress 2 and I've played Overwatch and they feel completely different. But alright.
But I think
Game
TF2 is
style.
better.
It's the style of game.
I'm not actually like I don't have an opinion on either way for the whether or not it's better. But
I doesn't.
I would make the argument
honestly,
that it's not the same game
the,
at
the
all.
the point that I was making is it's the same style of game. It's a game style that I'm not particularly into. That's what I said when it's just a reskinned Team Fortress 2. It's like the difference when it comes to me, it's like the difference between Fortnite, Apex Legends, and PUBG. It makes no difference because they're practically the same game type, and I don't like them.
Holy shit. PUBG Mobile sits actually pretty high on streams. But
Why would you
so-
stream PUBG Mobile? Like, why?
So, unfortunately for me, Bethesda's conference was just a huge. That's not true. That's not true.
What?
I was about to say it's just a huge disappointment. There was nothing there for me, because I was thinking. So there were a few other games that they did announce beyond Doom, which is id, not actually Bethesda. But it is Bethesda. And I don't know when they bought a studio in Tokyo, but they did apparently. And it's making a game, a sci-fi game. Well, actually, it's more of a supernatural game called Ghostwire Tokyo, and you play this like endgame Hawkeye looking character in Tokyo going after ghosts.
Okay. So it's like Fatal Frame.
I have no idea what that is, but maybe.
Fatal Frame is a Japanese ghost game where you can only see the ghosts through the lens of an old camera. And when I say old camera, old camera. As in those collapsing, expanding cameras
Right.
that
No,
you
no,
look
I get
down
you.
through.
I get you. They didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't release enough about the game to even know if this was like a third person or a first person game, or even. There is nothing there. It was just a cinematic trailer announcing that the game exists.
But I will give it to Japan. They do the pure horror games much better than the West does. It's like they just do because their style of horror is just better.
That shit insane.
No, it's just better. It's stuff that's genuinely scary rather than relying on jump scares and things and just grotesqueness.
I don't do horrors. That
I
sounds
don't really
worse
do it
to
either.
me.
I'm not really a ghost story kind of guy either, so Fatal Frame just didn't do it for me. But The Ring is based on a Japanese ghost story,
Ah,
and freaking Silent Hill was originally a Japanese game, and
right.
I thought Silent Hill is so much better of a scary story than the Resident Evils are. The original three Resident Evils were originally Japanese games, and then it was kind of westernized with four. Um, yeah, a lot of our survival horror games when they first were created were Japanese games that we ported over the United States.
Merc, I'll agree. Fear 1 was done pretty well.
Fear 1 was.
Yeah,
Fear 1
that had
and
some
Fear
good
2.
horror.
Fear 1 and Fear 2 were amazing. Fear 3 was garbage.
I tried to do this weird co-op thing, and it didn't work.
It wasn't even the co-op thing. Fear 3's gameplay was okay. It had good mechanics and it was polished, but the story was garbage. Like it took what happened in Fear 1 and Fear 2 and then just toss it over the shoulder. The guy you played in Fear 2 is in Fear 3 locked in a freaking thing, screaming, ranting, and raving, and you kill him.
Why?
I hated Fear 3. You'd have to play Fear 3 to understand. Like, did you play Fear 2?
No, I don't think I finished Fear 1.
So the premise, okay. Did you play Fear 1?
I got a good ways through it, but I never finished it.
Okay, Fear 1 ends with Alma still being out.
Mhm.
She's still pretty much out. And in fact, she's more out than she was before. Right? You basically released her at the end of Fear 1, as far as I remember. Fear 2, you're playing a different part of a different Fear team. And you're another ESP sensitive guy. In fact, you're more powerful than you the guy from the first one. You just don't realize it. You don't know anything about it.
Mhm.
And the whole game Alma's been stalking you,
Oh.
right? Not to kill you, but to make babies with you.
Jeez.
At the end of the game ends with Alma and you being stuck in this room and Alma showing up, and there's these cutscenes and all that just these flashes through the whole thing that just kind of implies intercourse is going on against your will. And then the final frames is her standing in front of you wearing that childlike dress that she wears and taking your hand, putting it on her belly as in she's pregnant.
Fucking A.
Yeah. It's freaky as shit. And then Fear 3 just takes all of the struggles, everything that you're trying to go against in Fear 1 and 2, turns it on its head, and now you're on Alma's side. The character from the first game is who you're playing now, and you're on Alma's side. Your brother is a fucking ghost. The guy that you killed in 1 is a ghost that's haunting you. And you're protecting Alma, who's your mother.
This is getting weird.
Yeah,
It's
sounds very
fucking-
Japanese.
No, it wasn't even Japanese. It was so fucking dumb. So dumb. I mean, as a shooter, going through the levels and playing the levels and fighting the enemies and all that and completing the objectives, it's a solid game. But the story that went along with the mechanics was so garbage. I could not bring myself to like the game. I played through just to see what would happen at the end, and no, there's a reason there's not a Fear 4. It was garbage. Fear 3 was garbage. It's like people talk about what EA did to freaking Dead Space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what they did to Fear was like 100 times worse.
So,
Got all these spoilers, Merc. Why?
Yeah, my ranting's done.
So, it wasn't a complete disappointment for me. I mean, it mainly was, but there were some things that I found interesting. So I posted in a live show, the one thing beyond like the typical like Wolfenstein and Doom that I found interesting. So if you want to pull up that trailer, I want to watch it with you guys. Get your opinions on it.
Let's see which trailer. That's Biff.
Which trailer
Live
again?
show.
Live show.
Oh, okay.
Live show.
God, this one.
Deathloop?
Yep.
Was that?
We're gonna have to watch it. Then you can ask your questions. I'm not gonna answer anything beforehand. All right, you ready?
I'm already watching it. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Buck.
All right, let me get it there.
All right. Ready?
Yeah, it's going.
This place isn't a paradise. It's a prison. Out here, we're trapped
We're free.
in this endless, eternal cycle.
Nowhere to run to, baby. Got nowhere to hide.
My life's purpose is on this island.
And I can't let this go on any longer. The more days I repeat,
The longer that I'm out here,
the more certain I am.
of what I have to do. The only way to protect the cycle
The only way to break this cycle
is to kill you.
Okay.
We're not done with it on our side.
Time is on my side.
I don't know anything about that game besides it has guns and teleporting.
Oh, I don't think it has. Well, as far as like gameplay goes, like it's. You could probably dissect the trailer and come up with it based
It's-
off of the previous games from Arcane, but mainly this was a story introduction trailer.
It seems like Groundhog Day, except with guns.
I don't see that as a bad thing, to be honest.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's about goddamn time someone actually decided to take that story into the video game world.
It
You mean like with
looks
Edge of Tomorrow?
really, yeah, Edge of Tomorrow, basically. Except it's a little bit different because, from what it sounds like, is
Sounds like that there's a town that's caught in a time loop, and this giant machine, what they were showing, is what's causing it. He's trying to destroy the machine to get the time loop to stop. She's trying to keep him from destroying the machine,
so she can keep.
so that
Looping.
that she can keep doing whatever it is that she's trying to do in that time loop.
and it looks really interesting.
It does. It looks very interesting. It looks like it's going to be either a story-focused game or a two-player versus type of game.
Yeah, I really hope it's story. Really fucking hope it's story. I'm gonna be really because given Arcane's track record, right?
It's probably going to be story. Yeah, I have to agree with you.
Given Arcane's track record, and kind of just relating this back to Dishonored 2, right? You had two characters that you could play, and they changed the story dramatically. You could play as the daughter, or the character from Dishonored
This is
1.
Dishonored 2, right?
Yeah, that I'm talking about.
Okay, just making sure.
So
I never
you
got to
could
play it yet.
I haven't gotten past the intro. I need to. I love Dishonored, but yeah, I agree with Mike there. But the thing that it sucks because that's all we get.
Yeah, Mark, it
The
does
only-
sound pretty cool.
The only thing that we get out of this is that, and you have the only other two games that look even remotely interesting are Youngblood and Doom, and I'm not interested in Doom at all.
Oh,
And
directions. Can we talk about Doom again? Let's talk about
No.
Doom again.
no, right when we're done with this,
Kidding.
we're gonna go over and we're going to make ourselves not a clickbait channel by talking about Cyberpunk.
Everybody's talking about Cyberpunk, dude. Where it's a clickbait channel.
So I want something like this, but I'm a little disappointed that that's all we got out of it, and a bunch of stuff.
It was just the introduction of
Right.
the concept. It's still probably a couple of years from being released.
No, that sucks. That's what I'm saying. That sucks. But alright, so main takeaways for me from the Bethesda trailer conference was fuck Bethesda for not remaking Fallout 3. Everything
It'll
was
happen.
incredibly disappointing. No, it won't.
Yeah,
It's
well,
not gonna happen.
it'll happen.
I
Might happen
want
in
it.
like 20 years, but it'll happen.
That's fucking retarded.
Well, they just remastered and redid freaking Fallout 1 and 2.
No, they didn't. They didn't remaster them or redo them. No.
They did remaster it, didn't they?
No.
When Todd Howard finally gets Skyrim out on every single electronic device, right down to a fucking toaster,
Flip phone.
He's already
then
done that with Oblivion.
he'll start putting.
No, but
Fallout
we're
3 on
talking about
everything.
Skyrim.
Yeah. See, I think that's my most upsetting point. They have focused so much on Elder Scrolls. But they have fucked over the Fallout fans. And the
Well-
Fallout fans are the ones that are upset with them. And instead of doing things like what the fans want to get them back on their good side,
Well,
they're
to
just
be fair,
ignoring the Fallout fans.
I mean, not really to be fair, just to put it a little bit in perspective, the Elder Scroll fans far outnumber the Fallout fans.
No.
Yes, they do.
Fallout 4 outsold Skyrim.
On release,
Yeah.
yeah, but not Skyrim, but Elder Scroll fans as a whole outnumbers the Fallout fans.
Alright, whatever. It's annoying. I am annoyed. I want Fallout 3 to be remastered, and instead of that, they give me Fallout 76, and it's garbage.
Yeah.
So, on to something I actually am looking forward to and want to play. A little game called Cyberpunk 2077.
Aside from understanding that it is going to be an interesting game, and I want to play it. I don't really know anything about it.
Well, let's watch the trailer.
All right.
I've seen the trailer. I actually saw that. It was the Microsoft
Yeah. Hey, Pig.
and
you know
I
we're-
watched that. It was,
You realize
it was
we're streaming, right?
shh.
Whether or not you saw something or not doesn't really matter.
It's okay.
All right.
This is
So
going.
it's already playing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for the warning.
Now it's not giving me ads for some reason.
I was probably gonna get the game anyways, because even if I didn't see this trailer, because it's CD Projekt Red.
Yeah. No, I feel you there.
V, my man, you made it. You blowing up all over the news. Are you alone?
I just want the money.
You got the chip? All right, start her up, Bug. Why don't you go to the bathroom, wash up, we gonna be with you in a minute.
What?
Oh, come on, man. Your neck, it's a mess.
While hotel security has yet to comment, we do know the suspect seems to have fled the scene.
Initiating combat mode. Go! Destination confirmed.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about! Alright! In and
I'm
out,
pretty sure this
bitches!
isn't in-game, but
We're rich!
it looks gorgeous.
Oh, we are going to the major leagues, Jackie! Jack? Oh, shit! No. Okay, get to a clinic, now.
Mr. Wells' condition is critical.
Go!
Immediate medical
It's gonna
help
be okay.
is required.
Just hold on. Hey, just think about all the good shit we're gonna have, huh? I'm sorry.
I want this so bad. This is exactly the kind of game I want.
right.
Just take the fucking chip, Dex.
Every corporal cop in this city's gonna be blasting down these doors after what you and your psycho friend did. We didn't need all this cocksucking attention, damn it.
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
Get hyped. But is it going to be an Epic exclusive? That's
No, I don't think it's going to be, but fucking the release date on this game is too fucking far away. Like, Jesus Christ. It needs to be a lot sooner.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
4/16/2020, but So, to explain a little bit about what that game is and what makes the game so interesting to me is if that is something that you'll actually see inside the game, that is a scene that you will see if you ended up fucking up or did something wrong during the mission that you did. Because this game has fail states. If you fail something, it's gonna garner consequences for you or other people. Things like
What just happened in that cinematic we watched?
yeah. So there's from how they've explained it, if he would have done it a different way, if he was more silent and nobody died, nobody knew that it happened, he came back to that guy, handed him the chip, he would become a regular contact for you that, set you up with jobs. But because you did it that way, he decided to kill you. Those kinds of things we don't have very much in video games, and I really want them. So I really want this game. If it is what they've been saying
games that we had games that like dabbled in that a little bit.
Yeah.
Mass Effect kind
example
of did,
would be
but
Dishonored.
not really.
Mass Effect had a little bit of that in the Paragon
Renegade thing.
Mass Effects. I mean, not Mass Effects. Dishonored was a lot less complex.
Yeah, it was pretty simple.
Yeah.
BioShock had little aspects of it. But none as
oh, okay. Yeah,
none
no.
as far-reaching as what this game is promising right now.
Yeah, so this game is promising that you would have that for every single mission that you do. You're referring to things such as
like
the
conscious choices.
Yeah, you're referring to the consequence coming in at the end of the game. Whereas in this, consequences come
throughout
constantly.
the game.
Yeah, constantly. And it's a lot more complex, and I so want it to be a thing.
I wonder if any of them are going to be limited by time. Like if you take too long. Yeah.
I mean, they've been working on 2077 since Witcher, since before Witcher 3 came out.
2013 is when they released the first trailer for it.
So 6 years.
Yeah.
Makes me think of Anthem.
Yeah.
I would disagree.
Yeah, just the 6 years thing makes me think of Anthem. I know it's CD Projekt Red, so it's not going to fail.
Well, like
Anthem did.
At the very least, if they were to release the game based off of what we've seen in trailers since like 2017, because this is the third trailer that we have seen with quote unquote gameplay in it. So if they were to release just that, it'd be a fantastic game.
I didn't see any gameplay though. All I saw was cinematics.
It was cinematics, but it was, I think,
they did release a gameplay trailer. I know. I saw
released. Yeah. So up till now, it's so interesting. I want to play this game. So bad. And
I'm actually interested in Halo Infinite, to be honest.
I missed that part of the conference.
It was
the
really
very
good.
It was the very, very end of the Microsoft presentation.
I really hope it comes to PC.
I hope so too. I hope all of the Halo games moving forward come to the PC because I really don't want to spend $500 just to play Halo Infinite.
I read somewhere that Halo Infinite has a big PC focus.
I hope that's true.
Well,
I really hope that it comes out on PC.
Okay, actually, no. Here's my prediction for that.
It's going to be a timed exclusive.
The Halo Master Chief Collection is a test run to see how much of there is a market for Halo games on PC.
Just to put that out there, Halo Wars 2
not a Halo game. Not in this context.
Okay,
Not in this context.
hang on. Fuck you. Don't interrupt me, goddammit. I was making a point.
Okay.
Halo Wars is still a Halo game, and the people who play Halo Wars still love Halo, and the reason they play Halo Wars is because they love Halo and they also love RTS. That's why I play Halo Wars. Halo Wars is an interesting RTS.
All right.
Halo Wars 2 did much better than Halo Wars 1. And the reason for that being is because it had a release on the PC as well as the console. In fact, the sales on release were higher on PC than they were on console, as far as I remember. So there is a massive market for Halo games, whether they're RTS.
So you're saying that. I understand, but you're saying that based off of what you just said, right? Companies don't always look at it that way. In this context, a Halo game is like Halo 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, and Reach. Right? So, my prediction is depending on how well the Master Chief Collection does, will depend on whether or not Halo Infinite comes to PC.
And I'll have to disagree with you on that, as in Halo, the Master Chief Collection is not a test bed. The Master Chief Collection is them finally realizing and actually listening to the millions of fans who want Halo to come back to the PC, because the Master Chief Collection, not the Master Chief Collection, Combat Evolved, released on both the Xbox and the PC, and that was the only one that did.
No.
And
Halo 2 came out on the PC.
Halo 2 came out on the PC. No, it didn't.
Yeah,
Yes, it
yeah.
did.
On Windows. Games for Windows.
How?
Windows.
When?
Like I think a couple years after it came out.
Yeah, it was a
Couple
PC
of years.
Port. Yeah.
It wasn't
Halo
launched
2.
on PC.
Combat Evolved came out a couple of months on PC after it was on the Xbox, wasn't it?
That I don't know,
I
but
know
Combat
Gearbox handled
Evolved
the
came
port.
out.
From what I'm seeing on PC Gamer, Infinite will be on PC.
Okay, when did the first game come out? When did Combat Evolved come out?
2001, I think.
It's
So
either
it came out
2001 or
2 years.
2002.
So it came out 1 or 2 years after it came out on the console. And then I think the same thing for when did Halo 2 come out?
2004, 2005.
Okay, so 3 years after it came out on the Xbox, Halo 2 came to the PC.
Either way.
It was a Games for Windows Live service and it sucked.
Either way, fans of the Halo games have been begging for the Halo games to be on the PC.
Yeah.
For over a decade now.
Yeah.
All of them. Not just 1, not just 2. I didn't even realize 2 was on the PC, but not just 1 and 2. All of them. Because as much as they love Halo, they cannot justify getting an Xbox just for Halo.
It's no longer become a killer app.
It's like I can't, as much as I love Gears of War, I can't justify getting an Xbox for Gears of War. As much as I love Halo, I can't, and Gears of War, I can't justify getting an Xbox for just Halo and Gears of War. Because basically those are the only 2 games that I like on the Xbox. That's it. And I don't have an Xbox. Because
I do, unfortunately.
It's just one of those things. It's like, I would love to be able to play these games on the PC. And the sad part is the Xbox uses Windows 10.
Not entirely. Not entirely,
It
but I get what you're saying.
uses-
I get what you're saying. They're not. See,
It
the thing
uses a specifically designed version of Windows 10.
yes, but it is also not. It's not x86, and that's why they have to do an actual port. x86 is the platform that you run a computer on. And the Xbox One isn't x86. That's the reason why they're able to get the performance that they are out of such crappy hardware. Is because it's specifically designed processors from AMD that are not running the same architecture. But it is 8:01 or 11:01 on your end.
Mm-hmm. And I'm starting to get a little grumpy because it's time for me to go to bed.
Well, then I think it's time for you to go to bed.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight on Locked and Loaded E3 edition. I don't have any closing statements. Do you guys?
Keanu Reeves wins E3. That's what I got.
Give me Fallout 3 Remastered, you bastards. That's my ending statement.
Yeah. You sons of bitches. Fucking.
Well, all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you and good night.
Good night.